So do I have to just not, don't worry, don't do anything?
You can't vote. You didn't hear it.
Yeah, so I don't have to say anything about that.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Temple City City Council regular meeting of April 21st, 2015 to order. Madam Clerk, if we could please have roll call.
Councilmember Sternquist,
Present.
Councilmember Mann,
Here.
Councilmember Fish,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu,
Here.
Mayor Chavez.
Here. Okay, well, I'm pleased to welcome back Pastor David Palmer from the First Methodist Church located right here in Golden West, right behind our City Hall, and he will be providing tonight's invocation. Just a little bit of background, as David Palmer has been the pastor for the past 5.5 years. As I mentioned, First Methodist Church and Faith Methodist Church.
right.
Kind of hard to get those two clear, huh?
And one of them is Mandarin speaking, so at 10 o'clock we have both English and Mandarin.
Very good,
For
very
all of you
good.
there. 我是的不好.
There you go. Good, thank you. Appreciate that. The members on the end understood that completely. We all know that Pastor Palmer has been involved in the past with our homeless. Takes a great interest in helping our homeless, of course. His church has hosted Neighborhood Watch, so thank you for doing that, and
Glad we
just
do that.
just being involved in everything, as we will maybe hear from you tonight regarding the upcoming National Day of Prayer.
Yes.
You've been actively involved with that for the number of years, and we, of course, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So if everyone will please rise and join us in the invocation, and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. Just about the National Day of Prayer, that's the first Thursday of May, and it'll meet right here at the Temple City Park at 6:30. And so it's open to everybody from all faiths to come and pray together, praying for the city and lifting up our concerns as a community. So invite everyone to be a part of that. In the spirit of spring, I thought I'd share this reading with us. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for the Lord is with me. His rod and his staff, they are a comfort to me. He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and anoints my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let us pray. Lord, as we come together to acknowledge your presence, as we consider the business of the city, I ask, Lord, that you would continue to bless the city with leaders who seek you out, who follow your wisdom, and that you would bless them abundantly with insight and understanding. Lord, we pray for all those who are in our city, from the least fortunate to those who have the most, that all might sense your blessing and your hand of protection. And this we pray in your great name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Palmer. I've asked Jerry Jambazian to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so Jerry, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, please place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Before we get started with our agenda, I just, when I hear the invocation and I hear our Pledge of Allegiance, it causes me to think about, if any of you saw the 60 Minutes show this past Sunday and the atrocities and the things that happen in other countries. We are so fortunate. We don't realize sometimes how fortunate we are to live in this great country and for all the things that it stands for. So thank you, gentlemen, for sharing those times with us. So we will now move on to item number 5, our presentation, and we'll start off welcoming our president and CEO of the Temple City Chamber of Commerce, Peter Choi, who will provide us with a quarterly update. So, Peter, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mayor Chavez, Mayor Pro Tem Yu, City Council, City Staff, and Temple Cityans. I am Peter Choi, President of the Temple City Chamber of Commerce. It's a quarterly report, and as you know, I do like to look back and report on some things, but also take this time at the ability public to look forward. because our many activities are in the quarterly report submitted to the city. Highlighting January 2015 Lunar New Year Street Fair with Singtown Newspapers, the City of Temple City, and Century Entertainment. It was a great event, and the Chamber was very happy to partner with you all. It was great to work again with Mei Li and Ann Chen, who are fantastic. The two anecdotes I will share with you, of course, it was an expanded two-day event, and I always like to check with people who had booths and people who may run businesses on the street. And the Citibank clerk, when I was banking, said that it was a great event, and it was lovely for him to be able to step outside and enjoy it during his lunch break. But of course, I asked him, how did it impact your business, your customer flow to the bank? And he said, no, everything went fine. It was a smooth day, which is good to hear from the businesses and that they're not negatively impacted. Temple City Barbershop, new barbershop on the corner of Temple City Boulevard, just a block north. Quite sad that they were not on Las Tunas because they wanted to participate. I bumped into him again buying some bacon-wrapped hot dogs or something, maybe stinky tofu. But they were sad that they were not on Las Tunas because they would have liked to have been a part of it. And so those were good anecdotes to hear from business owners, that they enjoy the event, and certainly it's a great event for the city. February, the Chamber was again happy to support in all our ways, with all our resources, the 71st Annual Camellia Festival and Parade, and opening up our office to the Royal Court and et cetera. But mainly we want to take this time to congratulate the new Executive Director, Don Torin, who has been great to work with and has been the primary source for many of the articles and news releases you read about in Temple City Life. And so I and the Chamber look forward to engaging with Dawn. She has, possibly the biggest smile in Temple City, so that's an asset. The Chamber has redesigned our mixers. As many may know, they used to be in the evening around 7 o'clock. It was hard for people to go home and get off their couch in the Netflix queue and schlep back to a mixer. Also, it was in the evening when you want to be home with your family. And for many business people, events that happen at lunchtime are often better scheduled for them. You need to get out of the office. You need to eat lunch. So why not enjoy it with other folks rather than having a sandwich alone? So this year, the Chamber switched our networks to lunch mixers. Eat and Meet networking mixers, free for Chamber members and guests, $10 for non-members. Certainly, let me take the time to invite the City Council and our city managers and department heads. You have a standing invitation as a guest. Never have to pay the $10 comp fee. But we go to a different restaurant the middle Wednesday of each month. It's great for the restaurants. We bring about 24 people in on a slow Wednesday. And how great it is to be able to eat lunch at El Ruiseñor Grill, at Phoenix Kitchen. It would have been Chuan's this month, but they had a power outage, so it'll be at Chuan's next month.
I was going to ask you about that. Did it get canceled?
It got canceled, then we moved it to free pizza and soda at the Chamber boardroom. So it was tighter, but still less convivial. But it's a great resource, and the bigger picture is this. I've attended meetings where there have been, some grumbles about what Temple City does not have, about our lack of what they call niche attractions. We don't have a movie theater complex. We don't have a racetrack. We don't have a giant shopping center, et cetera. But my thing about meetings is always to not come with problems, but come with solutions. And so one of the things we looked at was, well, what do we have? And what we have is a great variety of restaurants. And that is an inducement for people to come into the city. And it's a great inducement for people who may know someone in Monterey Park, but may live out in West Covina. Meet in the middle and present Temple City as a place to meet and eat with your friends. And that is part of the promotion. That's why we've done these lunch mixers. And that's part of the message we're sending out, that Temple City has a great variety of restaurants, from pastrami sandwiches at the Hat to Szechuan cuisine at Chuan's. And please, avail yourselves. We have upscale your space, and we have every sort of restaurant. So one of the things I want to quickly point out is the Chamber likes to present at least 1 or 2 seminars each month, and they are, most of them, free. And if they are not free, it says so. So if there's a subject that you're interested in, you are all welcome to attend. We love to have bodies in there. Ken Nollenberg, you were at our cybersecurity seminar. We had a cybersecurity seminar about bugs, viruses, and how to protect not just your office network system, but your own personal laptop, your own smartphone, tricks and scams to avoid on your emails. And the great thing about the seminar is the 20-minute presentation, but then there's a half hour where you get to ask your own questions about you as an individual, about your business, and specific to your concerns. And that's a great thing to have. We've had in the past a free tax seminar with Chamber member and familiar face here, Franklin Rudell, where you got to come in and ask general tax questions. It was a great resource. So Please check out, it's usually around page 4 of Temple City Life. There are these seminars once or twice a month. Next month coming up, you can meet author Michael Rooney. He's the author of the book Attractive Communications, 300 Ways to Make Communication More Attractive. Kind of redundant title. But he's a communication expert, a lawyer and writer. His writings have appeared in such outlets as Forbes and Chicago Tribune. He will undoubtedly sign a copy of his book if you buy it, but we may give him one away as a door prize. But these are some of the many seminars we have. And again, if you see a seminar at the Chamber and it doesn't have a dollar sign, then come on down and please join us. They're usually from 12 to 1. This year, because of our past relationship with the China-U.S. Business Summit, we were a partner organizer last year. It's a 3-day event that matches Chinese investors with business opportunities here in the U.S. I was honored to MC one day's event last year. It's at the Millennium Biltmore Hotel downtown. The reason we engage in these activities is to get the name Temple City out there. And these Chinese investors, it's not just about big shopping centers. They may be backing a Korean barbecue restaurant. And we want them to know that Temple City is a great place to invest. So we like to get our name out there and our presence out there. And because of our relationship last year, we were offered a speaking slot this year at this year's 6th annual China-U.S. Business Summit. And so I will be representing developer Randy Wang and the Camellia Square project to do a 5-minute presentation to investors about that. And if there is interest, then we may lead a quick tour 2 days later. But this is, again, one of the dividends of engaging with this kind of summit. And sometimes people think Los Angeles downtown seems so far away. Shouldn't we be here in the 626? But the idea is to draw that outside attention to the 626. And for Chinese investors or any investors who may not be familiar with the 626, to consider Temple City as your gateway to these kind of ventures. And have a business lunch here. Sunny Slope Water Company, one of our members, is offering a $500 scholarship to winning graduating college-bound students attending Temple City High School for a best essay on water conservation, 400 to 500 words, an essay on how do you propose water conservation be enforced. There's a notice in this month's paper if you want to see the whole ad. But it's a 400 to 500 word essay for Temple City High School seniors. If you know anybody, encourage them to get on it. The deadline is April 30th, and entry forms are at sunnyslopewatercompany.com. I was going to mention the day of prayer on behalf of our board member, Jim Walden, but it's already been mentioned. The theme this year is from 1 Kings 8:28. Hear the cry and the prayer that your servant is praying in your presence this day. Bring chairs and your friends. Finally, the Chamber is very delighted to partner with one of our new younger professionals, Michelle Lai Lau, who is with Coldwell Banker Dynasty right here in Las Tunas, and we will be presenting on Saturday, May 30th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., a youth career fair. It's presented by Coldwell Banker Dynasty, California American Water, and the Chamber of Commerce. It's for students aged 14 to 22. Saturday, May 30th, 10 to 2, in the Coldwell Banker Dynasty parking lot at 9228 Las Tunas. There's a notice in the paper. There will be raffle prizes, giveaways, and food trucks, but most importantly, the event will help young adults learn about future career choices. Through the Youth Career Fair, organizer Michelle Lai Lau hopes to inspire, educate, and empower young adults to have clarity in their choices and learn how to make their dreams a reality for adults who enjoy or have pride in their careers and their work. The Youth Career Fair is an opportunity to teach and guide these young adults on what it takes to pursue your career, as well as provide helpful tips on how to get into it. Exhibitor booths are just $50, but if you have a strong interest but a weak wallet, contact me and I'll work something out. It's $50. I can work something out. But mainly we want people there, professionals, to talk to the young adults. We want young adults to show up. I know we have covered the youth committee, so maybe some of them will be there, but I'm going to give a shout out to Wendy and them. And again, that will be happening, and it's something we're very happy to be working with. And that is really our report for this month.
Great, thank you very much. Are there any questions from council? No? Thank you, Peter.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can clap, go ahead. Didn't know whether you really wanted to or not there, huh? Just, we'll get you going. Okay, thank you. Okay, next, I'm pleased to welcome Manuel Govea. He is from the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District, and he is going to give us an update, of course, on a topic that we're all very interested in, and that's water or lack thereof, supposedly.
Yeah, and probably nobody's gonna be clapping for me when I'm done. But
We should have clapped for you before you got up there, maybe, huh? Okay.
would have been a good motivating factor. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff. My name is Manuel Gavea from the Upper District. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I have a pretty comprehensive and somewhat depressing presentation to provide you with this evening, but I only have 10 minutes, so I'm stopwatching myself. I'm gonna
Okay.
do my best, so if I race through anything, please stop me and ask for clarification. So, let's see here. Where do I need to point? There we go. Brief little overview again. Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. We are a California special district formed by voters. We have a 144 square mile service area, which covers 18 cities and 29 private water retailers. We provide imported water and supplemental water to these communities. We're one of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California member agencies, and our total demand per annum is about 200,000 acre feet. We have a 5-member board of directors, each of whom represent one of 5 divisions within our service area. Temple City is covered by directors Tony Fellow and also directors Charles Trevino, both of whom are apologetic for not being here tonight, but it's also our board meeting and they're going over a very similar presentation. So, again, where does our water supply come from here in the San Gabriel Valley? 23% of this is imported water. That comes from the Sacramento Bay Delta system through the State Water Project and also through the Colorado River Aqueduct. 77% of that water is considered to be local water, most of that all through the groundwater basin, but this also includes stormwater and recycled water projects.
Do you happen to know, but at 23%, which source gets the bulk of that 23? Is that
Off-
evenly divided?
Well, it depends on what kind of allocation we're given from the Department of Water Resources.
Ah,
So in this instance, this year, 20% is coming from the State Water Project. That's for the entire Southern California region. So what it actually trickles down to the San Gabriel Valley is minimal. So primarily Colorado River water as of right now.
thanks.
Overview of tonight. Basically, I'm going to give you a brief update on state water supply, then get down to local water supply, talk about the Governor Brown's executive order that was recently put forth, the mandatory conservation restrictions, and then follow up with Water Smart City status for the city of Temple City. So, California's current drought, if you look at this, 41.4% is still considered to be within the exceptional drought category. Extreme drought is the next color red, which is the majority of the state. This equates to about 37 million people who are currently affected by this drought. Governor's emergency declaration came at us as of January 14, followed by state water board actions requiring mandatory conservation, which now requires cities within the San Gabriel Valley to save somewhere between 20 and 35%. If you look at our current reservoir conditions, the top of the bar there is the capacity of a reservoir. The blue line in that bar is what the current level is of that reservoir, and the red line is what the historical average is. So if you look at all of these, they're all significantly lower than what the historical average is and the capacity. Looking specifically at precipitation levels within the Northern Sierra, we're looking at 76% of average of what our precipitation levels are at the water year to date. Water year consists of October to October. So 76% doesn't sound too bad, and it doesn't look too bad in comparison to last year, but we're coming to the end of our rainy season, and we're still significantly below our normal hydrology. Coupled with that, if we look at the Northern Sierra snowpack, we're drastically below average at 5% water year to date. So the rain that we have had, making that 76%, is not sticking into snow. And snow is what we want because that's going to create the runoff that's going to give us the water supply that we need. So with the average higher temperatures that we're facing, snow's not there. And whatever water and snow is landing, it's falling right into the ground and not creating runoff. So again, with runoff, on average, we usually obtain about 18.26 million acre feet from the State Water Project coming off those Northern Sierras. 2015 here, I think there's a pointer, maybe not. Yeah, okay, 2015 here, We're at about 3 million acre feet, and we're at 6 million acre feet, and the hatched line there is best case scenario for the month of April. Moving forward, since I also said we get our supplies from the Colorado River, Colorado River Basin is also now in a historic 15-year drought. And similarly, if you look at the 2015 bar here, this is where we are just about 3 million acre feet of runoff right there, and best case scenario is what we're gonna get through April and May from that end. If we go to the local level, recent rainfall history from 2001 all the way to the current water year, we're looking at about 35% of average rainfall that we see here in the San Gabriel Valley, which essentially equates to 42.5 inches of rain that we need to return just to get back to normal. The Keywell level forecast, our groundwater basin, which we are very fortunate to have here in the valley, is all measured primarily at the Baldwin Park Keywell. Currently, where we are, there we go. Currently where we are is right there at that black dot. Every single day has been a new historic low, and it's continuing to go down. The top line here shows best case scenario. Middle line is average. Bottom line here is worst case scenario. Once we hit 160 feet at that Keywell, that's where wells that are being pumped within our groundwater basin are starting to get affected and starting to turn dry. Emergency water supply planning assumptions and objectives. Worst case scenario, repeat of what we had last winter. Little to no imported water available for Metropolitan, and if you've read the news, you've heard that Metropolitan is enacting an allocation plan for 15% reduction across all 26 member agencies across the Southland. Again, as I just said, 160 feet at the Keywell. As of last year, we looked at all the wells within the basin with all of the water providers and the water master, identified those who would be affected first, started creating contingency plans of what we're going to do to assist those who are going to be in need, and planning to mitigate any potential issues that are going to arise from this. San Gabriel Basin historic water demand for July through September by fiscal year. If you see 14-15 is essentially 10% less of what it was last year and 13% less than it was on the 11th year average. The lowest year prior to that was 2010-11, and we are still 5% less than even what that was. So in terms of reaching our 20% by 2020 goals, we are certainly on the way, but we have lots to do. As of April 1, 2015, Governor Brown issued his new executive order extending emergency drought conservation efforts from last year and making a mandatory 25% reduction in urban water use as compared to 2013. This is to be administered by the State Water Resources Control Board and would be impacted on urban water suppliers who are retailers with 3,000 or more connections. 4 of Temple City's water providers fall within this category. Short-term measures through this executive order is 50 million square feet of lawns to be replaced with California landscapes, no using of potable water in public street mediums, all new construction of homes and buildings must use drip irrigation systems, and an encouragement of local water agencies to adopt rate structures that encourage conservation.
You know, on that last point, I'm sure you saw the paper this morning regarding the court's ruling on tiered pricing was unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys going to address those issues, or how does that play out with what you just said about adopting rate structures?
To my knowledge and understanding, that particular court case was very specific to the city of San Juan Capistrano and the specific type of tier structure that they have. The state is pushing for a budget rate structure, which is encouraging people to conserve, putting them in brackets, and if they save from under that, then they save in their bill.
Okay.
And so that it would encourage it through that way versus tier 1 is X amount of dollars, tier 2 is X amount of dollars.
Okay, good, thank you.
Long-term measures, let's see, this monthly reporting that these urban water suppliers are now providing the state board is now going to be permanent. New manufacturing standards for buildings are going to be established for toilets, faucets, and outdoor irrigation, and also new landscape design standards will be implemented for new and existing landscapes. State permitting agencies will also be streamlining the permitting process of all new water supply projects, which include recycling, storage, stormwater, gray water, etc. So, now for the San Gabriel Valley Water Smart City Challenge. I came and presented to you folks about a year ago with this new program that we've implemented. We invited all 18 cities within our service area to participate in this. The first 3 cities to complete 8 of the 12 challenge requirements and additionally obtain the highest rebate dollars per capita through SoCalWatersmart.com would become a Water Smart City. This program comes to an end as of next Thursday, April 30th, and we will be evaluating all of the final applications and all of the final rebate dollars per capita to give 3 cities each a $50,000 grant, get a commemorative seal here in the city, and we're gonna have a nice formal recognition event to include all the media and get everybody involved in this process. The goals are to engage cities to lead by example during the drought and promote water conservation as a way of life, water rebates, and for cities to adopt policies that contribute to the overall sustainability of our watershed here. So we had 12 cities participate this year. It's been a very, very successful program, very well received. Cities have hosted a number of different types of events. Just recently, Temple City had their own sustainable gardening class that they hosted to residents. Citywide website messaging, again, I had an example here of Temple City's website and the Reduce Your Use campaign. Specifically to where, from our standpoint of what we've been able to track, so we can't track all of your status for each of the requirements because it has to be submitted with the application, but from what we've been able to track, we know that you're hosting SoCal WaterSmart and SaveOurWater.org on your website. Hosted a sustainable gardening class, as I just mentioned. City Facebook page has been excellent for promoting water conservation. We conducted a large landscape water audit at Library and Live Oak Parks, and those surveys are both completed, and as far as I have been informed, retrofit processes have now gone forward with those. For the different events that we've hosted throughout the year, we've actually had 6 different council members, so prior to election, 6 different council members and 2 management staff attend at least 1 or more of our hosted events. And it's like 8 events, so that's pretty good. So thank you so much for participating. Also, very much enjoyed the PSA featuring Mayor Chavez. That's one of the other requirements. And as of March 1st, 2015, City of Temple City has obtained $1.63 in rebate dollars per capita, and I will say, in comparison to most of the cities, this is average.
Average?
Or
Well, does that
I
work?
mean, I can't give anything away, but I mean, that $1 to $2 range
Average?
is where
We
cities are
should
falling.
be. It's where we
Yes,
should be.
you're in the right place.
That sounds better.
With all my showers in Arcadia?
It helps.
I got a week until the competition's over. I can't give anything away.
All right.
So again, just in summary, worst drought in recorded history. We're at record low levels in our groundwater basin. We're hoping for the best, which equates to lots of rain, and preparing for the worst. And imported water deliveries right now especially are really, really uncertain.
Well, I noticed we had 7 completed, and so I looked at our city manager, and he's going to update us on the remaining one.
The remaining one is what's going to the Planning Commission in the next week is an item related to some guidelines that we can do related to, in not punitive guidelines, but guidelines that we can do in terms of water conservation. So that will satisfy that last requirement.
And that's before the 30th?
Yes, and we've talked to staff, and that satisfies the requirement.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you so
Thank you.
much.
Are there any questions from council? Anybody would like to ask any? I have a couple.
I have one
Oh, go ahead.
Regarding the 25% reduction, do we know when that is going to take place, or has it already, or how we're going to measure that?
It's gonna start taking place as of June.
June
When the
1st.
state board approves that
Okay.
during their May meeting, and then it
Okay.
will go on to the
So
following
will that be
year.
measured as to what was happening last year,
It will,
June?
yes.
My question is sort of related to that, and that is, of course, we identified what the measures are going to be and what the problems are. who is going to conduct the enforcement and those type of issues? Is that to be determined still? Is that a city job? I mean, is there any thought been given to any of that?
It really is to be determined. We're kind of watching how that's going to come down the pipeline as well. The state board right now is taking input from all of these water agencies as to what they foresee as a way of enforcing and how they're going to actually be able to enact this. So we're kind of on standby just as well.
And we're a little unique in our city, if I'm sure you're aware, that we have 5 water districts in our city. Is that going to pose more problems or other issues that we're going to have to deal with?
In terms of having a comprehensive message, it could, unless the companies are working together to use the same type of messaging.
And who's
Because
going to get those companies to work together? Would that fall to somebody like yourself or?
In the
I
water
mean,
ma-
not you personally, but your district?
it will definitely be our district and also the water master.
Okay.
But it also comes down to that each of the 4 water companies within Temple City that are required to report to the state board are also within different tiers of how much they must conserve
Yeah.
based on per capita data.
And last question, you know, most people, it seems, are kind of driven by what the economic effect is going to be on them or how they can save money or how this is going to help them. Does the Water District have any plans to offer any additional incentives or programs or things that help people become more of a water savings? For example, I know you mentioned that some cities have given the toilet giveaways, and I think if I recall, I don't know if it was your district, we're offering some monetary incentives if people were replacing their grass. Are there any more programs maybe coming out in the future that you can share with us now, or?
From a rebate standpoint, financial incentive standpoint, the rebate program is now up to $100 million through Metropolitan. All of the turf removal, toilets, all of that is offered through Metropolitan and
And
us
those will
as a
still be
member
continued?
agency. Yes.
Okay.
And those are to be continued indefinitely.
And they would go to your website or contact them?
Correct. And all of the money that will be generated from this allocation plan that's being put forth by Metropolitan, all of that revenue will go directly into the rebate program.
Okay.
But from our standpoint, in terms of conservation programs, we're doing things from the elementary, high school, adult level, a wide array of professional and residential landscaping classes, doing Water Smart City program, trying to just impact the population from all different degrees, because our role as a governmental agency is really to take on that conservation message and push it, because we're not in the game of making money.
And one of the things, we had a school standing committee meeting with our school board. One of the things that we may be looking at in the future, and we always do, we meet once a year with the school board, have a joint meeting. Perhaps that might be one of the things that we could have on the agenda that night, is for you to come and share more information that the school board could have, and as well as the city.
And that'd be fantastic, because we're gearing up to do presentations with all 200 school districts
All right.
within our service area
Perfect.
this summer.
Good, all right, so we'll coordinate that with your office.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
any other questions by council? Okay, if not, thank you very much
Thank
for
you
your
so much.
presentation. All right, let's give him a hand, come on, let's give him a hand. Hey, those of you. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Well, we have one more item on our presentation portion, and we welcome to introduce and welcome some of our youth committee members tonight. We have with us Amber Lee, Sabrina Trin, and Bailey Weiss. I should mention our award-winning youth committee. Perhaps they'll share that information with us this evening, but they're here to give us a short presentation perhaps about the youth committee and some, maybe what's upcoming. So, young ladies, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank
Who's going first? Amber? All right.
you.
Go ahead and step right in the middle.
I sent a slideshow to Peggy.
You
but-
sense what?
A slideshow to Peggy, and Wendy
Which-
said that she'd be able to play it here.
A slideshow to Peggy.
Oh. Peggy's not here.
Okay.
Marilyn,
We'll
do you know
just
anything
read.
about a
It's okay.
slideshow presentation?
I unfortunately did not receive the slideshow.
Can I pull it up on my own email right now, or is that too time consuming?
Can you do it real quick?
Like 2 minutes, quick.
All right, why don't you go ahead, why don't we do this?
They'll
We'll
start
go out of
while I-
order. Why don't you go ahead and get that set up, and we'll move on to the next item, and we'll come back. How's that? All right, is that okay? We'll come back to you guys. All right, so why don't you go ahead and get everything set up? So we'll come back to that while they're getting everything set up, and we'll move on to item number 6, public comments on items not listed on the agenda. City Council will now hear public items regarding items not listed on the agenda. The procedure to address the City Council is highlighted on the first page of the agenda. This section is limited to 30 minutes total. Okay, I don't think we'll need all of that, but I have here some speaker request forms. First one, Kyla Sickles. You want to come on up, Kyla, and talk about the Miss Temple City pageant? I see that we have some of our
We have Miss
court,
Temple
royal
City.
court here and our queen, so welcome.
Good evening, City Council. I'm going to have the girls take over. So, Miss Temple City has report.
Good evening, Miss Temple City of Temple City. I am Miss Temple City. I'm Monet Alvarez, and we would love to formally invite you all to the next Miss Temple City pageant.
Okay. And when is it?
This will be held on May 12th.
Thank you so much.
I believe that's a Tuesday. And I just wanted to say that all of these girls have been working very hard all year to prepare their speeches, so I really hope you all can attend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany G, and I'm also an honor court member. And our theme this year for our pageant is a dream is a wish your heart makes. Sorry.
Say that again. Your dream is what?
Your wish is a dream your heart makes.
Okay.
So it's a Disney theme.
Okay. Did you get clearance from them to use that name, or? Oh, okay, well, this is televised, you know. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Is that it?
Are there any questions from the
Any
the
questions
council?
from council for the young ladies?
Nope, excited.
I would just like to say thank you. We'll have plenty of time, I'm sure, at the pageant to thank you for your service. You've been great ambassadors for the city, and we've seen you all over the place, and we wish you nothing but success. You've got a good start. All of you have a great head on your shoulders, and we look for great things to come from you. Maybe one of these days, one of you will be sitting up here, hopefully. We'll see. But thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate it and look forward to May 12th. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we next have Mary Sneed. I'd like to come up and speak regarding the Relay for Life.
Mayor Chavez, Mayor Pro Tem Yu, and council members. I'm Mary Sneed, and I'm joined by some of our committee up here. Kim? And Kyla, you're also on the committee. They wear many hats in Temple City.
We know how that feels.
Seriously. I'm honored to be serving as the event chair for the 4th Annual Relay for Life of Temple City on July 11th and 12th. We'd like to thank you again for your sponsorship of this year's relay, and we'd also like to thank Temple City for their support of our recent yard sale at Healthcare Partners on Saturday. It was very successful, and we had a lot of Temple City stop by to peruse our treasures. With our relay less than 3 months away, we're looking forward to our kickoff next weekend at the School District Health Fair. And we're getting ready to paint the town purple in about a month. So for the month up to our relay and the month after that, you'll see purple everywhere. It's our favorite color in the next few months. I'd like to share a couple of facts with you. Each year, 1 million people will be diagnosed with cancer. At the same time, because of the work done by researchers, 14.5 cancer patients will celebrate another birthday. That's quite an accomplishment. Some of this is done by the 47 Nobel Prize winning scientists who have been funded by the American Cancer Society. This is why we relay, and this is why people have been participating in relay for 30 years. To those of us who relay, this is personal. Today marks the 19th anniversary of the night we lost my father to bone cancer. So this is a personal fight for me, as it is for everyone who laces up their tennis shoes and walks or runs for our 24-hour relay. We do it for those we have lost and for those still in the fight. We do it for those cancer patients who don't have the benefit of saying, for the next hour, I won't have cancer. I think I'll take tomorrow off from cancer. We hope the city will again field a team to walk with us as we support the American Cancer Society, and we thank you all again for the support you've shown to Relay for Life, and we hope you'll join us at our opening all of you can join us at our opening ceremonies on July 11th and at our Luminaria ceremony that night. I'm Mary Sneed, and I'm proud to say that Relay is 30 years strong. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary, that's at Temple City High School, correct? Yes. Okay. Well, you're correct. I mean, I'm sure all of us, everyone here has been touched in some way with cancer, family member, friend, whatever. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for making this a worthwhile project here in Temple City. You've done a great job so far, and continue good work. Okay, so we'll next move on to Jing Lee regarding our library program. Ms. Lee, you want to come on up?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council member. This is Jing Lee. I'm from Temple City Library. I'm here to talk about our May programs. In addition to our regular story time, we have several special programs in May. Tuesday, May 12th, from 3 to 4, we're going to have McDonald program, which is like a variety show with magic, reading. And also Saturday, the May 16th, from 11 to 12, we have a mariachi band come to the library to perform the mariachi music. And the last Saturday of May 30, we have from 2 to 3:30, we have a personal safety workshop. This for the family with the children 4 to 10 years old. So this workshop will teach the parents how to see the sign of danger, how to deal with the violence regarding the children's safety. And also, Temple City was fortunate enough, was chosen by the county library to participate in a program called the LAMP Art. So basically what happened is the teenager from Temple City will turn like a regular lamp into like a piece of art. So we are one among maybe more than 10 library participate, and our team from this committee very creative. So I cannot believe it. It's from our team. So they have their own ideas. They want to do something related to environment. So they use the library material, which is books. So they made like a tree house. It's very beautiful. So we're going to start in the art exhibit on Saturday, May 2nd. So not just Temple City will be participate, also other library also will bring the artwork together. So probably I think only will going to be in Temple City for 3 days. So if you really want to see it, you have to come starting like May 2nd. And also the last, I want to invite everybody come to this Saturday, May 25th from 2:30 to 3:30. The library has a program called the Dia de los Niños. I believe it's Children's Day, so we have a professional storytelling and also art activity, and we have book giveaways as well. And hope to see you there. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, any other further comments, public comments? If not, I'll close public comments, and before we move on to item 7, we'll return to item number 5 for our presentation by our youth committee. I see that we've got our set up on the screen, so we'll turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. To give a brief overview of Youth Committee, we are a 7-member team that meets formally on a monthly basis to discuss topics that are pertinent to the youth in this community. In doing so, we give the younger generations a voice that otherwise would not be heard in regards to civic matters. We branch out to other city commissions and send our committee representatives to their meetings to share their input and report back to us. This year, our committee is all girls, and as much as we'd like that, we've begun accepting applications for the next term. So if you or anyone else you know is interested in becoming a city representative, please head over to our city website for application requirements as well as the formal application.
In February, the Youth Committee participated in a mapping exercise with the General Plan Commission to provide input on what the youth would like to see Temple City become within the next few decades. Our General Plan Working Group is currently deciding on how it can solicit input from other youth in the community. Finally, our Little Libraries Working Group is collaborating with the Library Teen Advisory Board from the Temple City Library to install free pop-up libraries throughout the city. The concept of the Little Libraries is to take a book, leave a book, and so currently they are researching resources and working out the logistics to make this project possible.
Last October, we hosted a successful conference for students to learn about civic engagement. In addition to an engaging conversation about the inner workings of City Hall with City Manager Brian Cook, we invited speakers from Metro, UCLA Spark, Caltech HackTech, Temple City Marketplace, 626 Night Market, and Bike SGV to introduce participants to possible career choices. This event was received with positive feedback from students and speakers, and we have decided to continue hosting Youth Engage every other year. Recently, Youth Engage was awarded with the 2015 Excellence in Communications Award of Merit for Special Innovation of the Capio Award.
This year, Youth Committee's primary theme is bike and pedestrian safety, and our main goal at the Camellia Festival was to present this concept in an interactive way that would appeal to the younger generations. And so to do so, we decided that our plan of action would primarily consist of participation in the Camellia Parade, an informational booth, and a Walk Your City campaign.
In participating in the parade, we were able to publicize our theme and team. It's been an ongoing goal for this committee to reach out to even more of the city's youth by making its name and purpose more widely known. During the parade, all 7 members carried a youth committee banner and sported our limited edition Share the Road shirts. This was only the beginning of our successful modeling careers.
Our informational booth, much like our runway debuts, was a hit. We were able to reach out to sponsors such as Metro and Bike SGV for pamphlets, tire kits, and giveaways. We were very tempted to take everything for ourselves. In addition, we set up a Share the Road photo op that was popular among students. You can log on to Facebook and look for the photos if you're interested in seeing them. And by posting these photos to social media, people were able to share the photos and spread the word.
Lastly, Walk Your City is a popular campaign that encourages commuters to walk. One of the city volunteers suggested a Walk Temple City campaign. This campaign tied in with Youth Committee's theme and was utilized to promote the Camellia Festival. Signs were placed near the park and directed pedestrians to the festival. And that's...
If you know anyone or have kids that are interested in Youth Committee, our informational meeting is on the 23rd, so come join us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have to say that, when the council decided to form the youth committee, it was probably, 4 or 5 years ago now? And we had some tough start, had some hits and misses, but, this year's group of students has done a fantastic job. As you can see, they've been very busy. They're winning awards, and they're taking what they do very seriously, at the same time bring that youthful exuberance to things that we enjoy here in the city. So thank you very much. Continue good work, and hopefully those of you who are out there listening, or parents are listening, and certainly encourage your children to get involved in this, and of course many other ways of getting involved in the city, but this is certainly a good start for our youth. So thank you very much, girls. And I have to say, I think having all females is probably a plus, maybe. I don't know. That certainly wouldn't be a negative, would it be? No,
never.
not at all. That's just the way it worked out. But gotta get some of those males out here. But in case they don't, that's okay.
That's okay.
That's all right. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes.
Do we send notices to the kids who participated in the youth day?
Yes, we did send notices to all of them, and
Okay.
So we're hopefully going to get a good turnout and a good application process, and hopefully it'll be a difficult decision, as it always is actually every year, to pick the 7 members that will comprise the youth committee. I think we only have, is it 4? 4 openings or 3 openings, I believe? Okay, that's okay. We can't hear you, but yeah, 4, there, 3 or 4, so. All right, 1, yeah, we have a staggered, so 1, 2 years. So we'll sort all that out later, but we encourage everyone to get involved, certainly. Okay, well, we'll move on then to
Mayor
item.
Chavez,
I'm
you
sorry.
still
yes.
the advisor to the youth
I
committee?
am still the advisor. The oldest guy on the council is the advisor to the youth committee. So I don't know how that works out, but I do enjoy attending the meetings. Maybe it keeps me younger. I don't know, but certainly I do enjoy it. So thank you very much. Okay, so we will now move on to item 7, the consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be approved in a single motion as recommended unless removed for further discussion. If members of the city council or persons in the audience wish to discuss any matters listed on the consent calendar, please address them at this time. First of all, I would like to pull consent calendar item 7A1. There was some issues regarding who was present at that meeting, and so we're going to pull that off to have a separate vote regarding item 7A1, which is the approval of the minutes of the special city council meeting of February 24th, 2015. Are there any other matters that would like to be pulled? If not, can we have a motion, please?
So
Mr. Mayor,
moved.
I'd like to make a motion to approve all items on consent calendar with the exception of item 7A1.
Thank you.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if we could have roll call, please?
Councilmember Sternquist,
Present.
Councilmember Mann,
Or actually, we're saying
Yes.
yes.
We're saying yes.
Yes.
Oh, what are we saying? Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu,
Yes.
Mayor Chavez,
Or I guess you could say no as well, but
I'm
yes.
saying yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go back to item 7A1. Again, that was an item that, to approve the minutes of the special city council meeting of February 24th, 2015. Because of a conflict of interest, I could not participate. Councilmember Sternquist was absent at that meeting. Mayor Pro Tem Yu, you were there. And I believe that Councilmember Fish and Councilmember Mann have reviewed an audio.
Yes.
Or heard an audio of that session, and we are then now prepared, Mr. City Manager, unless you have anything to add to that,
No, Mr. Mayor.
now prepared to go ahead and take a motion on that matter and a vote. Anyone would like to make a motion? The motion would be to approve or disapprove the minutes of the special city council meeting of February 24th,
Do you want me to do it?
2015.
Needs to be one of you.
And we need one of you 3.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve item 7A1.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
A second?
Okay, can we have roll call, please? And that would only be of those 3?
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu.
Yes.
Okay, so it is approved by majority, and so that takes care of the consent calendar. We will now move to item 8, public hearing, none. We'll now move to item number 9, unfinished business. We have item 9A, which is the approval of a services agreement with Gretchen Sterling to operate and manage the Temple City Certified Farmers Market. We have a presentation by who?
I'll start off, but
Okay.
the reason I have Mayor Chavez, members of the council, this will be the last meeting and last presentation by my executive assistant, Giselle Carell, who's moving on to an exciting new opportunity with the city of Long Beach pretty soon. But I wanted to publicly thank her and take this opportunity to embarrass her and thank her publicly for all her support to me, I know the entire council, and to members of the community who you interact with at the city manager's office. So a little indulgence on my part there, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate it.
That's fine, thank you.
Before you is the agreement that Ms. Corella has worked on with Ms. Sterling and her company, spelling out some of the questions that were brought up at the last council meeting. A nice little graph that kind of shows what the financial breakdown is and what that represents in terms of cuts to the city and what's being reimbursed. So that's there. Giselle is here for any other further questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Are there any council questions? Hearing none, I'll open the public comment. Anybody from the public wish to comment upon this matter? Hearing none, I'll close public comment, and now we're ready for any council comment, if any. Anybody like to comment on the changes or anything? Just to point out that, of course, the two major changes as provided in the staff report has to do with the computation of how we are paid and the profit and all that. And also, there was a change regarding how many times that it could be closed, and I believe we compromised, and it's 2 times per year. So those are the two major changes, I believe, unless there are any others. Mr. City Attorney, I don't believe there were any others to that than we reviewed last time. So in that case, I'll be taking a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve this item, which is a service contract with Gretchen Sterling to operate and manage the Temple City Certified Farmers Market.
I'll second.
Okay, hearing no objection, can we have a roll call vote on that, please?
Councilmember Sternquist,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu,
Yes.
Mayor Chavez.
Yes. Okay, vote by unanimous vote, and so we'll now move on to item B, which is a discussion on nominating an elected official from the East City Cluster of the Metro San Gabriel Valley Service Council to represent the city of Temple City and the cities of Arcadia and El Monte. So who's going to be presenting that?
I'll take it, and then Giselle will follow up with anything.
Going out with a bang there, huh, Giselle?
Two in a row for Ms. Corella. Before you is the latest information that we've received related to the nomination process for the San Gabriel Valley Service Sector, the 3-city service sector of Temple City, Arcadia, and El Monte. Mr. Gomez, in communication with the city manager's office via the 3 city managers, myself, city manager of El Monte, and city manager of Arcadia, has bowed out. And you have a formal letter from the council member from the city of Arcadia who wishes to be nominated. The Metro board, Metro would like to see a unanimous vote or a unanimous nomination of who would serve on the sector board, and this is for your consideration tonight.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from council on this matter? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to open the public comment. Anybody from the public wish to comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Any council comment? No one wants to throw their hat in the ring, huh?
Not this
Okay.
time.
Okay, well, then I'll entertain a motion on this matter. Anybody would like to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve or to nominate Roger Chandler from the city of Arcadia to the Metro Board.
I'll second.
Okay, then, Madam Clerk, if we could have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Sternquist,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu,
Yes.
Mayor Chavez.
Yes. Okay, well, that is unanimously approved, and so, Mr. City Manager, I suppose you will take the steps to make that nomination.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, we'll now move on to item 10, new business. This is a discussion regarding the Public Art Commission. As you recall, at the last meeting, I asked that this be put on the agenda or mentioned that these issues would be coming up. Basically, to discuss, although the agenda says the structure of the Public Art Commission, I would like to be a little bit more specific. And one of the things that I would like to begin dialogue on this evening is the direction, or specifically the members, the amount of members that we have on or will have on the Public Art Commission. Just to provide a little bit of history, as many of you remember, when we established the Public Art Commission, we decided to have 7 members on the Public Art Commission. which was a little unique for the city since most of our, or all of our commissions have 5 members. And we also took an additional step to appoint an alternate. That is an alternate who would step in the event one of the 7 members were to withdraw or for any reason fail to serve on the commission. And so those 2 items are fairly unique to what we've done, although we all agreed on it, including myself, to take a look at that. The reason it's coming up now and the reason I brought it up is that, as many of you know, we are now getting ready to look at the reappointments or appointments of new members to our commission. And I thought this was the appropriate time to take a look at this to determine if we want to go ahead and continue with the current structure as it is, or to perhaps change it, whether it be to bring it in consistent with the other commissions or to perhaps even increase it, which would always be an option as well. I had staff, and I don't know that they shared this with other council members, but they did provide me with information regarding other cities, and it's kind of similar to what we got when we were first looking at this issue and the surrounding cities. And of course, many of them, all of them are different. There are about 16 commissions county-wide, apparently, that have these public arts commission. And of the 16, 9 have 5 members, and 3 have 7, and then there are 4 that have 9 or more. And they all run differently. They're all set up differently from the fact that one, I think Alhambra City Council actually serves as the Public Arts Commission, so they wear dual hats, I guess, there. And others will appoint similar to ours, and others will have different commissioners from other commissions serve on it. So there's a whole run of different things. And those are all maybe for another discussion another day. But I just wanted to perhaps hear or give some thought to, do we want to continue with the current 7, or do we want to change that at this time? Right now, we have 6 members. One, as if you recall, resigned a number of months ago. Mr. David Ho resigned, and we did not fill that position, knowing that we were going to be coming up with some new appointments at the end of June. So I'll throw it out. If anybody has any comments one way or another, or none, this is the time that to bring those up. Councilmember Mann, I'll start with you.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
Sure, I guess for my own edification, what would be the advantages of having 7 as opposed to 5?
Well, I don't know that I can necessarily, there's an advantage to it. I think part of the reason when we first set it up is that because of the uniqueness of we thought the Art Commission was a new thing for us, and we had many applicants that were, probably, I guess you could say, of equal talent, and so we decided, rather than to limit it to 5, to raise it to 7. I don't know that there's any specific advantage to having 7. My personal thought is that the more people you have, the more obviously ideas that you may have, but also at the same time, the more disagreement you may have as well. And that's not to say that our current commission is having any specific or necessary problems that I can pull at, but I think for me, it was a matter of, I looked at it the other way. I didn't see a compelling reason, at least, to have 7 rather than 5. Why it should be different. That's my whole thinking. So, unfortunately, we don't have anybody here from the Arts Commission, and we didn't really necessarily invite anybody from the Public Arts Commission to this meeting, although it is a public meeting. It was something that I just wanted to throw out there for our discussion, because we're the ones who actually set this up to begin with. So, Councilmember Fish?
Actually, I think I would like it to be more consistent with the rest of the commissions. I know that it was a new commission. It was something new. We didn't really know at the time kind of what their responsibilities and duties were going to be. Now they're a little bit more outlined. There was mention that there were many qualified applicants, but we have many qualified applicants for many of our commissions. So I don't think that would really be a reason to have 7. Let's see, what else did I write down? So yeah, just as far as my experience being on the on Parks and Rec Commission for the last 10 years, I think 5 people is enough. I think, again, when you start getting larger numbers, and like you said, you start getting more disagreements. So I would have to say I would vote for the 5 members.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry, let me go ahead. No, go ahead. Councilmember Sternquist.
I'm wondering if we did make it consistent with our other commissions, how would we go about doing that? What would your suggestion be?
The process, and I'm glad you asked that question, because the process, and one of the reasons why we brought it this evening, is because we would need to change the ordinance. And of course, that, if we are in agreement, or the majority is in agreement tonight, then we will, the instruction will be to staff to draft a new ordinance, to bring it back at our next meeting, and then, of course, that would take effect 30 days after the second reading, or the, I don't know, whatever the things are. And that would allow us the time to then bring it into play when we reappoint everybody. So that's the timing aspect of it.
So do we have, I know there's 7 people, and they were staggered terms, correct?
Yeah, they are staggered terms, and there's currently 3 members that are up for renewal, okay, or reappointment. There is 1 member, as I mentioned. One of the members that is not subject to reappointment at this point is the one that resigned. So basically, we would have 3 continuing members. They would be on it for another year, 3, and then, of course, that would create 2 openings. Now, of course, if all 3 of the current members who are up for reappointment reapply, then, of course, if we go to 5, only 2 of them would be subject to selection, because we only have the 2 openings if we go to 5. And again, I know that could be, it's not a problem, but of course, you know, as we did a few years ago, none of our commissioners are guaranteed reappointment. They serve at the discretion of the council, and there's never a guarantee that a returning member is going to be reappointed. We look at everything, and not only them individually, but the other applicants as well, to make it a fair process. And so, of course, if all, as I said, the implication is if all 3 who are currently on there reapply, then one of them probably would not be reappointed, because there just wouldn't be any space for them, because there's only 2 spots. But that's assuming even the ones who are continuing on there are going to continue. As you know, as a member of the ad hoc committee, one of the things that we tend to look at regarding our commissions, and I think one of the factors that we all as a council look at, is the attendance. And not only on this commission, but all commissions. And so that's certainly going to be a factor, I think, in this coming round, is, you know, what is the attendance of not only the members of the Art Commission, but of other commissions as well. Because, you know, it's a good problem to have, and the problem we've been incurring is that because of our Citizens Academy, because of our outreach, everything that we do, we have so many people that are now coming and want to be part of the process and part of the committees, that we have a lot of good people that are willing to come and attend these meetings and be there. And so, you know, it's difficult to keep urging these people to do it and then not be able to put them anywhere. That's probably a good dilemma to have, but at the same time, it's tough, because, you know, we want them to be engaged and be part of it. So, yeah, to answer your question, probably in a long-winded way like I normally do.
I forgot what my question,
I probably forgot
question was.
But there will be some, there's only 2 openings. There would be only 2 openings if we go to 5, and a possibility of 3. But of course, not only a possibility of 3, but I'm assuming we're going to get other. We could have 20 applicants for the 2 positions, which usually happens.
I have a question.
Okay.
Well, do we still have an alternate on this?
Well, we do have an alternate,
don't
which
know.
is,
Do we?
with
I mean,
Joanne Russo was selected as the alternate,
But then she
but
became
she is now on the Parks and Rec
Right.
Commission, so I don't know.
So is there an actual, is that a position, or is that just something?
Well, there's
Well,
a
it was
history
something we
behind-
created,
yes.
which was unique, as I said, to this commission, and
Don't ask.
I think,
Should we just
I
not
can't
do
speak
that
for the,
either?
well, I can't speak for the ad hoc committee, but I'm assuming that when we think about these things, I think our recommendation would be to not necessarily have an alternate
Okay.
at this
I would-
point.
I would agree
It
with
just
that.
seems to be a disincentive to other people as well, you know, so I don't know. I don't know that I would see a return of that.
I think my concern is that, you know, everybody comes to the table on the commission with, you know, great intentions, and they're volunteers, and it's very hard to get rid of volunteers. I mean, I don't mean in the sense it's, for me, it's like you give of your time, and I appreciate that so much. So limiting it to 5 makes me think that it could be, it's a sensitive thing also, as far as, you know, these people give of their time and their energy. I almost wish that we could get to 5 with people not reapplying. And we're already at 6.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we are at 6 right now.
Do we know if the people that are up for reappointment are indeed showing an interest in
Well, we don't know
applying?
that. The application period is still open, and
So
so
we
that
have to
remains to
wait
be
till
seen.
then.
We have to wait to see. You know, certainly I would urge them to reapply, as we do all our commissions.
Right. But maybe
Um,
someone is thinking about not reapplying.
Well, that could happen, of course, and it would make our job easier.
But I mean, we could ask ahead of time.
Well, we could, I suppose, but
But I just think I'm a little hesitant to say, let's, you know, go ahead and change it to 5, just for that reason that, well, the other reason was that it was a very unique situation, as we all know, that had been on council, on how that number got to 7. And I think some of us reluctantly went to 7, just to accommodate, because these people had been volunteering and we wanted everybody to be inclusive. So, you know, I don't know. I'm happy to go with the majority. I don't know if it's the best thing to do, but I'm willing to listen to some more
Okay.
discussion.
all right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, you?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think when we went to 7-member at a time, and we all probably have second thoughts about it, because I think one of the key things that we need to consider is that when we have a policy, it needs to be uniformly applied. We have many commissions. We created the Public Safety Commission, for example. We kept a 5-member commission. I really don't see any particular reason why this commission, is the circumstance is so unique that we need a 7-member commission. There are many commissions that in other cities, because we can look to, say, City of Los Angeles, the Cultural Affairs Commission, the LA County Arts Commission. They have more than 5 members. I think LA County has like 15-member commission, and I think the LA City Arts Cultural Affairs Commission, which takes care of public buildings and art, and I presented several times in front of them as an architect, they have like 9 members. But the unique thing about these large commission is that they have a heavy workload. They have many things to consider, and they also meet during the day. So one of the issues as a staff member of such a large commission is that you cannot have a quorum if you don't have enough members. So if you're a large member commission, then chances are you can get a quorum. You don't have to cancel your meetings. So, but we really don't have that large caseloads, and it is very interestingly, I just recently visited the LA County Regional Planning, the Planning Commission of LA County. They do have a lot of workloads. They have large projects. But interestingly, they only have 5-member commission. So I think there's nothing really unique about having 7 or 5, and I really think that for consistency's sake, we really need to keep it to a 5-member commission. And once upon a time, I was a staff to a county commission. Having a larger commission just is less efficient. While you do have more input from more talents, you have bigger talent pool. For example, you may have art commissioners who is skilled in sculpture. You have art commissioner who might be skilled in painting, one in other form of art. However, it's less efficient. for every member, you have more notification to send out for meetings. You have all 7 members needs to speak, and it just makes it less efficient. I think it was a unique situation. We created our commission at a time we're not quite know what to do. We're not quite sure how many art projects we're going to take up. So, but I think after a year or two of that, I think it's time that we can bring it back to be in line with other commissions. In regards to the application of, do we need to increase or reduce the number because of the member, current member applying or not applying? I really don't think that should be a factor at all. I remember actually when Mayor Chavez and I came to the City Council, we actually started making every commissioners who were up, when the term's up, to reapply. It was a little bit of unconventional, and we actually had a few folks who were not very happy about that, because in the old days, we just, if you're on the commission, if you want to stay on, you don't have to reapply. But we have made a decision. We want to see more turnover. We want to see more citizens participate, and we make everybody apply. So whether or not they apply or not apply should not be a factor, in my opinion, for tonight's discussion. I personally would support moving it from a 7-member to 5-member.
Hey, you bring up a good point. It's kind of ironic that on the city council, we have term limits. We have no term limits on our commissions. And in fact, in some instances, in the old days, there were commissioners that had served longer than
Like
city council members.
Yeah, 20-some, 30 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, at any rate, yeah, you were on there quite a long time, yeah. Okay, well, I'd like to open up to public comment. Anybody from the public wish to comment on this matter at all? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. Anybody else would like to make any further comment at this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Just for my own edification. The number of commissioners, once you reduce it, is there an ability to increase it for whatever reason in the future?
We can do anything we want. Within the law.
Within the law.
Within the law. No, of course, there's no question. And the reason we're doing this, and it's a good question, is that these are terms, these terms are outlined in our ordinances. And of course, we have to follow procedure, which is the beginning of, to go ahead and change that. And of course, in the future, if we wish to change it anymore, we can always do that. But of course, as long as we follow what we're doing this evening and the protocols and how we do those things. So yeah, of course. And just to kind of piggyback on what Vince was saying, at the time, certainly having 7 members, it was unique to us. We had the Rosemead project going on. We had a lot of things going on. Not that there's nothing going on now, but it has slowed down a little bit. And I think a 5-member body can certainly handle the workload at this time, even with the Las Tunas project coming up, which is going to be down the road. So, okay. Any other questions?
So
All
then
right.
the process would be that it comes back on May
Yeah.
the,
What I would ask is a motion to direct staff to, pursuant to our discussion today, to come back with an ordinance to change the Art Commission from 7 members to 5.
okay.
I guess I'll make that a motion. I can make a
Well,
motion.
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
All right, so
Mr.
there's a
Mayor, I'll
motion.
second that.
All right, so there's a first and a second. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Sternquist,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu,
Yes.
Mayor Chavez.
Yes. Okay, so that passes by unanimous vote. We'll now move on to item number 11, communications, none, and number 12, update from our city manager.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor Chavez.
Okay, thank you very much. Update from city attorney?
I'm going to chew up his time, and I'm going to
Okay.
make a few comments to him. Mayor, I was originally going to comment about the governor's recent conservation order and kind of walk through that a little bit. Even though the city isn't a water utility, it has 5 different ones, so the governor's conservation order will impact residences in the city pretty uniquely. But your speaker brought up or one of the council members brought up the Capistrano case, and I thought maybe instead I would just take a few minutes to talk about that, because I think you're going to hear about that or read about it in the paper, and you can get the wrong impression about that case right away. It has already been cited that the Court of Appeal has determined that tiered water rates are illegal. That's not actually what happened. The case brought by the Capistrano Taxpayers Association against the city of San Juan Capistrano, who operates a water utility, really challenged two things: whether the water utility could pass on capital improvement projects, new pipelines, new tanks for storage, new meters, things like that, to its ratepayers, and whether or not it could use a tiered water rate. Many, as you're familiar from looking at your bill, most water utilities have a stair-step rate that has kind of a base rate that covers their basic operating costs, and then as you use more water, your rate goes up and up and up with your commodity charge. That means the charge for the gallons of water increasing over time.
Per unit.
Per unit. The Taxpayers Association said that that was a violation of Prop 218. You'll remember that Proposition 218 was a statewide ballot measure passed by all of the voters in California that focused not only on taxes, but especially on assessments and fees, and in this case, what are called property-related fees. Generally, we know those as water and sewer utility charges. They are fees that are incident of us owning or using property. The court in this case said that you can pass on capital improvement charges, and it doesn't matter that a resident doesn't use or need a particular facility for their water usage, as long as there's an indirect use. For example, if I'm a water district and I'm putting in a recycled water line. Now, I, as a homeowner, I'm not going to use recycled water, so why should I be charged by that? But the court said, no, that's fine, because when your water utility puts in recycled water lines, it takes other uses off of potable water, drinkable water, and makes more available for you. So that's okay. What they did say about infrastructure charges is that if you have a rate or a class of users for extremely conservative water users, people who use very little water, then they shouldn't be charged for the capital improvements that facilitate larger water users. And that will be something that water utilities have to adjust for. With regard to the tiered water rate structure, they said tiering is fine under Prop 218, but each tier has to reflect the actual cost of service for that tier, instead of just taking all of your costs and dividing them up by tier or setting some arbitrary rate for conservation or other purposes. They have to reflect the cost of service. The court didn't give any guidance on how to do that because San Juan Capistrano didn't fight that. What they said was Prop 218 doesn't require that each tier have to reflect the actual cost of providing water to that tier, because as a public utility, we don't make a profit, and our tiered system is fine as long as our overall operating costs, the revenue we receive doesn't exceed our overall operating costs. The court said, nope, that's not the case. You do have to go back and make sure that each tier is reflective of the service of providing that tier. We'll have to figure out what that means. The governor wasn't happy with this decision, reportedly, because in his conservation order, he does encourage water utilities to adopt and make use of tiered water systems that increasingly penalize additional water usage, meaning there should be a penalty component in addition and above cost in each one of these tiers. This decision makes that encouragement in the governor's order vague, invalid, as dubious legality. So we'll have to see how we implement that. The State Water Board, which the governor gave authority to issue the rules on implementing his order, will put out final rules in May, and then the final rules will be implemented in June. So we'll see here in a month what our final rules are in order to meet the conservation guidelines or mandates. while the conservation order talks in terms of 25% conservation statewide, the individual water district conservation levels actually range from 10% from very conservative water districts to 35% for others. Those numbers were generated by looking at per capita water production in the district in September of 2014. And so there are a number of districts who are saying, whoa, that's an abnormal month for us, or we're doing special flushing or other types of things. We're going to have to see how all of this shakes out. If you're familiar with the water board, they don't move really fast, but they're moving at like warp speed. If you ever watch Star Trek, there's like warp 7 for the water board in terms of how fast they move. So if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to address those. But I wanted to just give you a very general overview. Didn't want people to panic too much about what the San Juan Capistrano decision made, and I wish I could provide more clarity on how we're all going to adapt to the governor's conservation order, but just don't have that detail yet, maybe next month.
Well, thank you very much. That was a very good explanation, because I know I read the paper, and sometimes what you get in the paper is not always exactly what is really what comes down. And I also keep in mind that this is a Court of Appeal decision, which is not the final arbiter on matters, and that could be appealed, of course, to the California Supreme Court, which could have a different opinion as to how this should all lay out. So it's all just out there now, and we're all just kind of trying to figure it out, and hopefully those people who are a lot smarter than us will do that one day. But the bottom line is save water.
Save water.
Yeah, just conserve water. You know, and that's what Councilmember Sternquist has been doing for quite a while now.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Mr. Vial, I have a question about the May 1st is when there's going to be more clarification from, is it the water board to the water companies, or?
May 1st is when the rules implementing the governor's decision are supposed to be issued by the State Water Board.
Okay. So currently, I have 2 properties serviced by 2 different water companies. One, East Pasadena, I believe, sent me a notice saying my water is going to increase by 27% starting May the 1st. And Sunny Slope is going to increase by 60% starting May the 1st through October, and then it hopefully will go back down again. So they said the total will be 30% increase in the year. Is there anything, because I've tried to look online, talk to people, that says there's a cap or of what water companies can charge, or is it just, this is what we think we need to do right now? So one company is going to charge 60% for a 6-month period, and the other one's going to charge 27%. Will that May 1st ruling be inclusive of rates that water companies can charge, or is it pretty much a free-for-all?
Each water utility has to charge based on its actual operating costs. And so the operating cost of different utilities is different. I'm not familiar with the 2 that you mentioned or their rate increases. I don't know whether they include or are inclusive of the conservation measures that they will have to take to meet their percentage conservation requirement first, or whether these are just reflective of the existing drought conditions that they're trying to live with. And there is no statewide cap of what percentage you can increase or maximum amount of water, as long as it reflects the reasonable and actual cost of providing the service to you. Now, water commodity, as a commodity, is going to be more expensive. The serious drought leads to overdraft, which is only solved usually by conservation and bringing imported water, which is going to become super expensive.
Would it be wise for us as a city to contact these different water companies in our city and have them come and tell our residents at a council meeting what those rates are reflective of? Because, you know, my neighbor up the street is like, ours is going up 60%, but around the corner, half a block, theirs is only going up 6%. So, I mean, we're kind of all over the place. I don't think our residents are going to have a really clear idea of who can do what.
It's certainly a policy question for you to decide what role the city and the city council wants to play as an educator or a disseminator of information. Certainly your residents are going to be uniquely impacted. There aren't many cities that have 5 different water utilities that
And an
service them.
enforcer of the regulation.
That's right.
Because I'm sure they're going to have to pass that down to the local entities. I don't see the state or even the water districts taking that role on. They're probably going to look to the individual cities, and I know some cities have already taken on that role, such as Pasadena and Arcadia. I don't know if Arcadia has, but there are other cities that have instituted those things. But we're not there yet, and hopefully we'll get some rain.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think it's time that we need to be proactive about it instead of waiting for.
Well, there's no question. I agree.
And actually, very much would like to hear a staff report at the next meeting as to some of the measures we need to take. And I agree with Councilmember Sternquist's suggestions of inviting the water companies and have all 5 of them come. Have report out. Number one, how they built the rate structure, because it's hitting you. And I'm sure it's hitting the rest of our residents. I haven't got my water bill. I don't know what is going up, but I'm sure everybody is doing that. And interestingly, on a separate project, we have my regular work. Well, a project has reclaimed water, has regular water. Actually, reclaimed water is about 1.5 times more cost than the regular water. I don't know if William have seen. So if people are using more conservation, actually the costs just go right straight up, because you think you're saving more by bringing in more pipes and bringing in reclaimed water. Actually, the water is very expensive.
And just not to add to the complication, but with the 5 water companies, which staff has, and I actually met with their representatives when I first started, you have different types of governing structures and private versus shareholder type of companies that are governed under different requirements, both with the CUP and within their own internal governing structure too. So we will do our best in that staff report, if that is the direction of the council's Mayor Pro Tem Hughes asked, to try to at least give a sense of what that looks like, because there will be differing ways in which those companies look at their rate structure and what is, and I come from a city that had its own water utility, and it was pretty spelled out, Prop 218 requirements under protest vote, or majority protest when we raised rates, and how we structured that, the way we had to present it, those types of things. There's going to be some nuances to each one of those as we present those. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I was also, because it's really questioning, talking to the city attorney. Legally, when we're not the water purveyor, we have water companies supplying water. Does the city have legal right to restrict water usage, such as putting people on only water your lawn 3 days a week, or none at all? Let's say we go to extreme measures. Do we have that legal authority to do so when we're not a water purveyor?
Usually that obligation is put on the water utilities itself. When you have a city, like the city manager mentioned, that has its own water utility, that's pretty simple. In this case, not so clear. One of the things that I think is going to be addressed in the rules is that question. What cities are supposed to do, non-water purveyor cities are supposed to do, because frankly, the practical matter, cities are the ones that have a code enforcement departments that can actually enforce those types of penalties, but that means you'd have to adopt an ordinance, and nobody's talking about doing that yet. We don't know what to adopt. So that's something else to come down the road. Some of the water utilities, I think the governor's plan was that enforcement would take place via surcharges and penalties that the water utilities would just bill to customers. And if they didn't pay them, of course, they went delinquent, and then you could suffer water shortage or shut off as the enforcement mechanism. If that's not going to work, we'll have to look at something else.
Yeah, I tend to not always believe that throwing money at something or threatening monetary damages is a solution always. But I agree with what you're saying. I would rather take a proactive approach, but what I would perhaps put on that is let's give staff the opportunity to digest what's going to be coming down in May, have all the information. I think that would give them the opportunity then to make a more intelligent, informed presentation to us. So
Okay.
perhaps sooner than later, but
I'm okay
the
with that.
direction would be that once staff, let's say, in May, has the information, perhaps the second meeting in May or first meeting in June, maybe come back with some type of report or analysis of what, similar to what has been provided tonight, and then take it to the next level.
Mr. Mayor, if it's okay, second meeting in May, that would allow us to get the,
Of
the
course.
guidelines.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
we
what
won't
I'm
have 4
saying.
days, then I appreciate
Yeah,
that. Thank you,
so,
sir.
okay, great. Okay, anything more? That's
Yes.
it?
One more.
Okay, I'm
just-
sorry.
oh,
I'd still like to see invite the water companies and
Yeah,
have
well,
them
that
come
would be
out.
probably part of the staff report and recommendation to get those things
Well, you want to do it
taken care of.
before, because do you have a recourse as a ratepayer to?
If I don't pay it, they're gonna shut the water off pretty much. Then I'll really be in
Well, we
Arcadia.
can't take any individual cases on, I mean,
Be the extreme
whatever you guys
conservative.
are experiencing individually, of course, you would have to resolve on your own at this point.
I'm gonna shut it off in mid-shower when my son's in there too.
Yeah, well,
I'm just-
that's what you have to
it.
do sometimes.
Go outside and shut it off.
Councilmember Mann?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got a notice from your utilities, but Sunny Slope services my house, and they had sent a letter saying that they were going to enforce water usage between certain days. Like they would say you can only water your lawn on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and you can't do it between the hours of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I got a letter saying that they're going to start enforcing that or be subject to fines. Now I don't know if the other utilities are doing that same thing.
I
So
didn't get anything from
kind of
Golden State.
related to what
I didn't get it.
yeah, kind of related to what Mayor Pro Tem Yu was saying. It seems like at least what I've seen is Sunny Slope has already
It's already
taken
happened, right.
that measure forward, and it's going to be unevenly distributed. Like you said, we have 5 different water companies, and there's going to be a lot of confusion about, every utility is going to try to come up with their own enforcement policy, and it's going to be chaotic.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the problem that has been brought up several times this evening, is that is unfortunately maybe a more unique situation that we have in Temple City, having so many water districts in such a small city, that is going to be the challenge. And maybe it's a matter of getting these people to the table. I don't know whether they will come or whether they care or whether what we can do legally, I have no idea. But I'm sure those are all issues that staff will address and make us aware of. So they've heard the discussion. I think they have the direction, and so we'll look forward to what we have coming in the future. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on then to item number 14, council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings. Is there anybody that has a report to give?
I do.
Okay, Councilmember Fish?
Mayor Chavez and I attended the joint meeting between the school district and the city council, and there were a few things on the agenda. The main thing is that they gave us an update on all of the construction throughout the district. They also provided us with an outline and a time schedule. It will be available on City Hall, at City Hall. It is available right now on their website. I'm sorry, we probably should have brought some tonight.
I have one.
Do you have one?
I have one, and they'll be available in City Hall. It's basic, this is the March update, but they're doing it monthly, and they'll make them available in City Hall and, of course, on the website. It gives everybody an update as to the different locations, what's going on, and the timelines.
It's very, very informative. Things are actually starting to happen. It's been very, very challenging for them. They've had a lot of changes with the bond, but I'm convinced this summer we're going to have a lot of new projects going on. So that was really positive with them. We did decide that we're going to have a meeting once a year, at least once a year, with them to kind of update ourselves, on both ends. And
The mural?
oh, the mural. The mural. When did they say we're going to move it? They haven't decided yet, right?
They haven't decided. As we all know, the
But it's
library mural
almost-
that's out here is going to be transferred over to the district building for 2 reasons. One is to have it have a nice home where people can still enjoy it, and also to make room for the new mural that is going to be going up hopefully sooner than later on the library wall to take the place of the existing one. So
Yes.
the agreements have been going back and forth as far as getting it moved, but we're a lot closer, and hopefully, there was no exact timeline, but based on what they told us, that should be in the next month or two.
Yes.
And we'll have it moved over there, so everybody will still
They
be able
said
to
everything's
enjoy it.
going good, and we're very close to moving it. And then Mayor Chavez just kind of gave them a background on our youth committee and our recruitment. They have said that they are going to help us recruit some young people for our commission, so that's very good. We're very excited about that. And that's about it.
Well, Councilmember Fish, I was wondering, now talking about water conservation, actually, did they mention anything about water
We actually
conservation?
did talk to them about water
I'm looking at
conservation.
our school board member here, too.
We did talk to them
Yeah.
about water conservation. We plan on, in the future, maybe doing something together. They actually have a plan already to start educating the parents of their,
Well, not only that, I mean, it's a rare opportunity where we have such a massive capital
Exactly.
program
Exactly.
within the city and the district, which we basically overlap for the most part.
and they did, yeah, they
And-
did
and
tell us.
it's a great opportunity for them to institute in the new
Right.
buildings,
Yes,
the new landscape
Right.
design, water
They
conservation
took all of
measures.
that into consideration.
Oh,
They have
wonderful.
told us that they have cut down on the watering on all of their schools, all of their fields. So, yeah, they're doing as much as they can. But again, they want to work together with us.
But what I'm really interested in, the new design, the new building design. For example, if they have a
Right.
playing field or something, they use underground drip instead of, open spraying of irrigation system, that kind of a thing you want to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, we did ask
Yeah.
about that. Superintendent Perini
Yeah.
did indicate that they are taking those measures, they're
Okay,
looking at all
wonderful.
that stuff.
Glad
And
to hear.
they're on board, and they understand the situation, and that's something that they are including in their projects. So.
Great.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, before we move from this ad hoc section on item 14, I'd like to bring up a couple of new ad hoc committees that I would like to appoint or to create. One is, and we've talked about this before, and that is, as you remember, we instituted a new set of protocols. It's been probably about, at least 5 years now, I think, 4 or 5 years that we adopted our ethical rules, our new protocols regarding ethic issues that deal with not only the council, but commissioners as well. I just thought in the back of my mind that it's time to perhaps revisit and take another look at that to see if there's any changes that may be necessary or to update it for the benefit of not only the commissioners and council members, but for the city as a whole. So I would like to create an ad hoc committee to review the city protocols. And I would like to ask Councilmember Mann if he would like to join me in that.
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, so myself and Councilmember Mann will create that ad hoc committee to review the city protocols and report back to council if we deem there are any changes are necessary in that. Okay, and then the second one that I like to create, as many of you know, we began discussion regarding a Veterans Day celebration in the city. Although we've done some in the past, it's been quite a while, and I know there's been a great interest, not only on council, but also amongst our residents to create a formal Veterans Day celebration. And I know that there has been some informal discussions about that, but I thought for regarding the transparency and to make sure that council is aware of what's going on regarding that, since there will be some funding issues and things like that, that would be appropriate to appoint an ad hoc committee to head that up. And I would like to ask council members Fish and Sternquist if you guys would work on that ad hoc committee. Okay? All right.
Absolutely.
So we got those things going? All right. All right, so we'll move on then to item 15, council items separate from the city manager's regular agenda. And this time I think I'll start with Councilmember Mann.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. I would like to share with everyone that Councilmember Fish and I were fortunate to be able to participate in the Smart Water Challenge, and we attended one of the tours that was given by the Upper San Gabriel Valley Water District. And we were able to tour a lot of our water conservation facilities that directly impact our area, such as our dams, our spreading grounds. And fortunately for me, a lot of it was familiar territory. 2 of the dams are under the purview of LA County Department of Public Works. So it's kind of interesting to view the tour from a different perspective, from a water purveyor as opposed to from a engineering standpoint, from a maintenance and infrastructure standpoint. But again, it kind of illustrates sort of the severity of the drought when you actually go see the reservoir levels up in the San Gabriel Mountains, such as Morris Dam and San Gabriel Dam. I think Councilmember Fish and I would both agree that when you see the reservoirs, you can actually see where the high water level marks were and how far we've dropped.
Yeah.
So
It's very sad.
Yeah.
When you actually, I mean, you can hear about it, you can read about it, you can hear it in the news, but when you see it for yourself, and they actually took us on a bus so that we could get out of it and look, we're in trouble, is
Yeah.
all I can say. I mean, we are in big trouble. So, yeah, please
Yes.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, so on that note, it's like we as a council have already reiterated water conservation efforts. So I encourage all residents to continue doing that. And a big part of it is really educating yourself. For us, the tour was an educational opportunity to kind of see it from that lens. I was also at the sustainable gardening workshop that we held on Saturday. We had a very positive turnout. And I think those are the kind of educational opportunities that we as a city should try to provide, in tandem, in collaboration with our water districts. The turnout was very good and a lot of people showed interest in them. In fact, I was going to ask staff if it was possible to have that information available on our website, even though I know that a lot of that information is coming from the water district and they're not coming directly from us. But making that information available on the web somehow would give other people the opportunity to really partake in those lessons instead of having to make, one single meeting. Like, not everyone's free at 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. They might rather be somewhere else. But to be able to view sort of those slideshows that was presented, sustainable gardening is something that I personally have been trying to do for a while myself, but have been unable to partake in. And I've seen some of the homes, like I know there's a home on the corner of Camellia and Garibaldi that has a sign that kind of asks, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's kind of like a good model or basically you could kind of see full scale what an actual sustainable garden would actually
demonstration
look like.
garden.
Yeah, like exactly, thank you. Like a demonstration garden. And I think having more of those, and if we're able to highlight those, then we can kind of, show everybody that we as the city are really, we're really trying to push for that. And that's what we want to stand behind and encourage our residents to be the models for the type of conservation efforts that we're looking for. So that's all I have to share.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Fish.
Okay. It's been a busy couple of weeks for William and I. We actually got the opportunity to meet with all of the department heads at City Hall to find out what each department does, how they run, who they are. So that was great, wonderful information. We also met with Captain Jacobs, again, to talk about the Sheriff's Department. So again, that was a great opportunity for us. Of course, we had a wonderful volunteer luncheon, always great. About 100, I would say, 125 people were there. Again, our volunteers, we could not do the things we do in Temple City without our volunteers. We've got some great people. I see some of them out in the audience. So that was another great event, so congratulations to Kathy and her staff. I am also the liaison to the Chamber of Commerce, and I did attend my first meeting. They are always hard at work trying to recruit more members, and currently they are also soliciting for new board members. They will have I believe their gala, or where they swear in their members, I believe in July or August. So if anyone's interested, they're looking for about another 10 people. They can contact the chamber, or they can contact me, and I can give them some more information for that. Mayor Chavez and I attended the Dr. Sears Learning Center Open House and Awards Night. Again, very informative. We got to see the new building. It's not open yet. It is in place. I actually live about a block away from it, and I've seen that facility grow from a little house to this great, wonderful facility. It does a lot for our community. I love the students there. They've got some great programs, so I would recommend for everyone in the community to visit them, to see what they do, and to attend their graduation. Again, the graduation, it's very inspiring to go to their graduation, to see what these children have gone through and what they have accomplished. So again, that was a great thing to do. And then lastly, I did attend Congressman Judy Chu's Woman of Distinguished Awards, where our very own councilwoman, Cynthia Sternquist, was recognized for her many years of service. So that was very exciting. Congratulations. And then lastly, several of us, we attended the Caprio Communication Award, where our youth committee won an award for, and what was the name of the?
Innovation.
Innovation. Very, very well deserved, considering that they're fairly a new commission. They've actually done some great things, and to be recognized, they said this was the highest amount of entries that they've had for these awards. So to be recognized was actually a great honor, and we were very privileged. I did hear that they were very happy that we were the only city that actually sent council members. So congratulations. And that's it. Thank you.
And I think I was in the restroom when they introduced me, but
You were.
that's okay.
No, you were putting money in the meter.
Yeah, putting money in the meter, there you go. Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Sternquist.
Yes, I attended my monthly LA County Library Commission meeting, and some exciting things that are going to affect us directly in our library. The Friends of LA County Library, similar to what individual county libraries or libraries have, Friends of the Library, this is a much bigger group that solicits monies from large corporations to donate to the library. So the LA County Library youth librarians got together and proposed a grant, and they received $100,000 that will be used in 20 libraries to start with, and our library will be one of those programs. And one of the courses is going to be an 8-week session, called Adult 101, and it's to target students that are juniors and seniors in high school that are getting close to graduation. And it'll be composed of 8 sections, where one time they go out and it's on workplace etiquette. Another one is on public speaking, how to network, and I forget what the others are, but evidently through research, these 2 librarians found that one of the things employers are saying that they are finding about the new generation of people entering the workforce is that they really don't have a sense of what it is to be a loyal, dedicated employee. So they use this research to help develop these 6 courses that are 2 hours each, and it will be offered. I'm not exactly sure what the scheduling is here. Another one that's really interesting that we will see, but further down the road, is a personal safety for children ages 5 through 18. And this is basically in a very non-threatening way for the younger kids and even those older. Take the approach that they want kids to be aware of their environment. They want to expose them to what human trafficking is and the dangers that are out there when they're alone. And with so many of parents working both parents working, kids are alone a lot. And the library has taken on the idea that they need to be part of the community and helping children have a safe place to go to, have a safe haven. And they want to encourage libraries to be that place. So this is an exciting program that hopefully will help parents, and parents are asked to come also, and they will have separate sessions for the adults on human trafficking, slavery. Something that was very interesting to me was she actually said that one of the courses for the parents talks about not just sexual exploitation of children, but that children are used as pets. And I mean, everybody said, did you just say pets? And she said, yes, that they have found that when, recently in the news, when we've seen things where they have found women being held hostage and they had chains around their necks and kept in cages, that there's actually, a group of people similar to pedophiles that like to use children as pets, and they're treated as such, which is just, a horrible thing to imagine. But they also said that through their research that it's so common in all communities. It's just that you don't hear about it as much in affluent communities as you do in low-income communities. And that in more affluent areas that there's a false sense of security, more so than in low-income areas. So I thought it would be something very interesting for our library to do, and some of this grant money is going towards that. I will say that at the Women of Achievement Awards, Judy Chu announced to the audience that Temple City would have a new library in 1 year, and I was like, no. So I don't know how that got misconstrued, but
She give us money?
maybe so. Maybe she'll have some influence on our
I
supervisor.
don't think she has any money to give.
Yeah, but anyway, and I just want to thank Jerry came out and was gracious enough to take pictures of the 4-hour award event. And our city manager came out, and William Manan, and I know both Mayor Pro Tem Teaches and Vincent had work obligations, but I know they were there in spirit. So just want to thank you all. It's very awkward getting an award when you're so used to just giving them, and actually it's still very humbling. So thank you for all those and your good intentions.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, you?
Well, first of all, second on the getting the Women of Distinction Award,
you.
congratulations. And
Thank you.
you certainly deserve that, and more than a lot of people, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And also a second, the congratulations on the volunteers. It's been a good year of volunteer work, and that when we had a good volunteer luncheon. Last week, I had the opportunity to, I was invited to speak at Woodbury University, a small college, private college in Burbank. I spoke to the 5th-year architecture student, and I have the opportunity to mention about our city. And I talked about our residential design guidelines that we have had and how that did not prevented mentionization. I talked about how that turned some of our multifamily. Used to be a bowling alley, that we no longer have that. And also I have the opportunity to talk to them about Rosemead Boulevard, our innovative protected bikeway design. As it turns out, there was a student sitting there that used to live in Temple City. He said, he loved our Rosemead Boulevard, so I thought I would just share that.
That's great.
So, and finally, to Councilmember Men's point about the reservoir level, I think a lot of us do take the 605 South. Between the intersection of 605 South and Lower Sousa Avenue, and there's a quarry pit over there. That water level is historically low. That is the level of our water table. And you can see how far down it is. Has never been that low before. So
that's on the east side.
East side, east side.
Yeah, you're right. It used to, it's very, very low.
Very, very long.
you're
You
right.
can, if you drive, if you
hardly
take
see
your
the bottom
car,
anymore.
You can't even see the bottom.
Yeah.
It was only, the other day we were in the van, that we could see,
Yeah.
actually see the bottom.
Yeah.
It was kind of really scary, so I think we need to step up our conservation effort, so. Well,
Okay,
you.
thank you. Well, I've just been doing the things that mayors do. But I've been busy with some of those things, and
Forgot to
I
congratulate
want to thank specifically, of course, all our council members do a really good job of getting out into the public, but new council members, Mann and Fish, have done a fantastic job getting out there in the public and representing and speaking to the residents, and I know they all appreciate it, and certainly we do as well. So thank you for taking that task on. It's a big job. People think that, you know, it's certainly we come to these meetings and stuff, but certainly it's a lot more, and we know that coming in, and we're prepared to do it, and you know, most of the time we do it with a smile. So thank you for doing that. Of course, all the same things have been mentioned: the volunteer luncheon, the Doug Sears Learning Center, all those things, of course, very important events in the city. One thing that we didn't mention that I did attend this past Friday, and if you've never attended before, Oak Avenue always puts on a Civil War Day every year. And I always try to make a point of going to it, and this year I was able to go for a short time this past Friday for about a half hour, 45 minutes, but I always like to go. They do such a great job. They hire a group that comes, and they have different locations where they talk about the Civil War, and there's even a woman, and I'm sorry I forget her name, but she's been doing it year after year. She plays Mary Todd, and does a fantastic job. Takes you back in time to you know, those days, and talks about Abraham Lincoln and all the things that were going on. So she's fantastic. So congratulations to them for doing that again, and the school district, they do a fantastic job, and thankfully they'll keep doing it. That's about it. You know, it's funny though, we've been talking a lot about water tonight, and it came to mind, I ran across a report last week. I forget if it was in the Wall Street Journal or where, but somebody's have predicted that we're going to have a very, very rainy season this year. So you never know. I mean, who knows? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But at the very least, we need to be prepared. We've done the same thing with earthquakes. You know, everybody keeps telling us there's going to be an earthquake, and you know, we've gotten prepared. We've done built up the buildings and changed the codes, and so obviously, I think we need. Sometimes these things need to remind us what we need to do and to change and help the environment. So you know, hopefully between that and you know, the nature being what it is, we'll get through this as well. So and that's all I have. So we will now move on to item number 16. We will recess to successor agency to the Temple City Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. And Madam Clerk, if we could have roll call, please.
Agency Member Sternquist.
Present.
Agency Member Mann.
Here.
Agency Member Fish.
Here.
Vice Chairman Yu.
Here.
Chairman Chavez.
Here. Okay, we'll move to item 3, the consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be approved in a single motion. If members of the successor agency or anybody in the audience wish to discuss any matters listed, please address them at this time. Do we have anyone from the wish to, or can we have a motion on the consent calendar?
Motion to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Agency Member Sternquist.
Yes.
Agency Member Mann.
Yes.
Agency Member Fish.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Yu.
Yes.
Chairman Chavez.
Yes. Item number 4, unfinished business, none. New business, none. Communications, item 6, none. Public comments. Anybody from the public wish to comment at this point? Hearing none, we'll close public comments. Number 8, update from executive director and agency council, none. Matters from agency members, none. Closed session, none. And we are in adjournment. We will return to the regular council meeting. Item number 17, additional public comment on items not listed on the agenda. Would anybody like to make any public comment at this time? Seeing none, I'll close public comments, and we are in adjournment. Thank you. Have a good evening. Before
job.
10, 9:30.
Wow, that's a record. Oh, sorry.
I think Carl holds the record.
I gotta go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
right?
Was that an 8:20 meeting maybe?
Yeah, I think he holds that record. All by efficiency. I'm confident. I rush my things. When I was in project secretary,
I do.
That's true.
I just take whatever I want to take.
You're
If
right.
there's anything.
You take people out to have a meeting, they're not working, right?
we try to limit it, Joe. I mean, we're pretty
Efficient,
extreme,
but
actually, so I still like.
when does Stella come back, Vincent?
Oh, yeah, she'll get back.